Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our session on creating templates in MailChimp. So this one's going to kind of be more in depth on just really how to get in and start using the different templates that are available in MailChimp. They're pretty straightforward, and they do include some themes, which makes it really easy for you to come up with some really nice looking templates. So templates can be made for e-zines and just plain old email messages. Don't go overboard on the design because that really does lower the open rate as well as far as the deliverability, that's a tough one, is concerned. You want to keep it short, sweet, and to the point with not a lot of graphics. And really content is king when it comes to anything email marketing. So let's get started. We're going to look at the different features that are included with the templates in MailChimp. There is a drag and drop feature now that makes it so easy for you to really just kind of design on the fly a template, which means you can lay it out, excuse me, however you want to look by just simply dragging and dropping elements and removing elements that you don't want. So you're going to start with kind of a template, if you will, and then you can remove and add as needed. There are different template types as well. There's the basic, the themes, and your code your own, and we'll look at all three of those so you can get a gist of what you want to do. And basically, when it comes to any email marketing provider, you want to brand your messages so people know immediately who the message is from. You know, your colors, your logo, and those type of things are really what's key, as well as the content that you're sending. So we're going to start with the drag and drop templates. And let me bounce over here to MailChimp. And we're going to jump over to templates. And again, this is our sandbox. So you can see we've got templates in here already. But what we're going to do is we're just going to start straight off and we're going to click on Create Template. And probably a good idea before you even get to this point is determining, well, what kind of template are you creating? Is it one for an e-zine? Is it one for just broadcast? Or is it for an event? Or is it something special? So you're going to want to take a few minutes just to kind of get your idea of what is the template for, right? And then kind of get an idea of the design. Or if you're like, okay, I know exactly what I want, you could just create it, or you can take something similar and then, make it work for you. So this is your basics. You got your themes, which your themes just give you all different kinds of things, e-commerce. You've got one in here for events. So it basically gives you a much more colorful template to start with, and then code your own. Code your own is actually if you're going to bring your designed template from another provider, you can simply export it in HTML and then import it in here. You could also copy and paste it. So let's go back to basic. And so basic, very simple. One column banded, and you're basically looking at the sample here. If you click on it, it gives you kind of a templated preview mode, as it says. This is what it would look like on my desktop, on my mobile. So you can actually look at it to see what it looks like on a mobile device because it is responsive. And so that's kind of cool so that you can see that as well. And then if you don't want it, you could just hit the X and back out. So you can just kind of go through here. And you could spend all kinds of time in here, but basically what you want to do is find one that works for you. And let's say I like this one, okay? And also each of them have a name, and you just hit select. Now, once you get to this point, creating a template is the same no matter if it's a themed based or if it is, a basic template. Now, obviously, if it's one of the code your own, that's going to be heavy on HTML and CSS, which we'll look at separately. But basically, the basics and the themes are going to be pretty similar when you get to here. So this is your, if you will, this is your blueprint that you want to start with. And as you notice, when you hover over any of the pieces, you get a little pop-up that comes up. And as you hover over, you get a box. So you can click on the pencil to edit. You can click on the plus sign to duplicate. The trash can obviously deletes. This button right here would just simply open up the menu over on the right, depending on what type of object it is. So there's different kinds of objects. So for instance, if I want to change something in here, if I click in here, it automatically opens up this information for me. Now you can actually double click anywhere in here, but your actual typing is going to be done over here. Okay, very, very simple. You can copy and paste in here. You've got your bold, italicized, underline. You've got your links. You've got your image buttons. You've got your bullet and number, copy and paste. You've also got styles, fonts, sizes, so very similar to Word, your colors, your highlights. Oops, oh, I'm sorry, that includes what we would call a rule, which is just a line. Doesn't tell you what it does when you click. There you go. An anchor, you can do merge tags, which would things like email address, list address, subscriber name, all of those kind of things. As you can kind of scroll through there and look at those. As you got your paragraph markers, then you've got your alignment, spell check, and these are your undo and redo. So if you're familiar with the button bar, it's pretty much the same. I can just highlight by double clicking. I can go over here and I can change colors. And now if I want to paste something, I always use Lipsum because it's easy. If I can spell, oop, nope, lip, so there we go. And I'll just grab some text, so I copy and paste. Now, if you're going to copy and paste, what I want you to do is make sure that you use one of these buttons here when it comes to styles, especially this one. Because your browser, you may not be able to access the key. Hold on, I can't read. Because your browser security settings, you may have different results with this, but basically what you can do is you can paste in there. Now you see it didn't work like it should. What you want to do is make sure that when you paste, a lot of times when you paste, what happens is sorry about that. I got a little bit of a stuffy head. So anyways, what I was saying, when you want to copy and paste, you can use one of the paste buttons, but depending on the browser, you may have some issues with it. Just be careful when you paste because sometimes you might get some funky HTML code in there and it may not look the way you think it looks or should look. You can always paste it through something like a text editor or Notepad to strip out all of the formatting, okay? But you can certainly copy and paste in here, no problem. Now, just real quick to kind of give you the lay of the land, you can highlight something, you can do a web address. You've got some advanced options here. You can open in a new window, you can remove the link. Okay, so there's my link. I can also do email addresses. Now this is the template, right? This is all you're doing is setting up the template. What we're doing here would be things that we would commonly see in the actual messages that you're sending. So a lot of times when people create a template, they do put dummy text in there so people know where to put specific information. So yes, we are creating a template, but sometimes it's helpful to actually put in the dummy text so yourself or maybe your client would understand where things go. So there you go, you can do that. So there's that. You can also do what's called anchor text. And basically what that allows people to do is jump throughout a document. It's really helpful in something like an e-zine. So I can highlight that. I can do an anchor. Now I haven't created any anchors, but you could basically create an anchor in here and insert it there. So an anchor, whoops, we really remove that. Happy clicker. There, I can put an anchor here. And then you can actually link to that from somewhere else in the document. So just so you know what an anchor is. These really are helpful when you want to call, you want to go to a specific place in a very large document. So yes, if we're creating the template here, but as I mentioned, a lot of times it helps to have dummy text there, especially for things like e-zines, so you know where the different pieces go, okay? So that's kind of just putting this together. And like I said, you can move this by dragging and dropping it anywhere you want to go. See how it moves? Okay, simple, simple. You have content, you have style, so you can actually create styles as well. You have the ability to go in and do a text style, so you could change it to a different color, right? You can choose your family style or your font style, your size. Oops, too small. You can see that the image on the left is actually changing. Is it normal? Is it weight? Is it line height? Oh, don't like that at all. There we go. Your text align. Okay. So you have content and then you have design. Okay. And design is going to bring you to the design of the actual page. And notice when you're in here, content gives you the actual elements. So you can actually drag any of these in here. So I could actually say, I don't want this piece, so I'll delete it. right? And I want to put a button here. So I just drag and drop it, see how the button shows up. So realize that every different element is going to have different options available to it. So these screens are going to change depending on what kind of information you have in here. So I could put it to my web address. And again, templates are really great for things that you do over and over again. E-zines, if you do events, if you do webinars, if you do those type of things. And so basically, as you come over here, you basically drag and drop what you want. And as I mentioned, everyone has a different option depending on what it is. Okay, so a couple of other things real quick. Your footer, this is the footer down here. You have to have that inside of all email marketing materials because it has the ability for you to unsubscribe. Code, if you drag code in here, this will allow you to put custom HTML code in here so you could copy and paste that from somewhere else if that's what you needed to do. Just wanted to show you what that does. So I can go in here and delete that, right? There's a video image. Okay, the difference between an image and an image card, you can see if you actually look at the elements, you can kind of get an idea of what they do. So what I do is invite you just to come in here and start playing with these things because it's the easiest thing for you to do. I can go in here and browse. Here's my logo. Whoa, it's my old logo. But you can put that in there. There you go. So you go in here and change. So remember, you got content, you have design. Okay, and if you click on design, it'll also show you what it is that it's changing. So this is the background. Huh? You can see that that's really too dark. Okay, I have the border. Do I have a border around my thing? And then the border is that color. And this is really going to be kind of an ugly document, but you get the idea. Okay, pre-header text. What color is that? So I can actually make that lighter. Ooh, right? And so on and so forth. So you can see all the fun things that you can do. So I think the best way for you to really get an idea of how to do this is come in and actually play with it. Okay, so once you're done, a couple things. This is untitled. We haven't actually named it yet. A couple things you can do. First of all, up here in the upper right-hand corner, you can do preview and test. So I can enter preview mode, which takes out all the goodies and shows me actually what it's going to look like. And then once again, desktop, mobile, or inbox. So you can see what it looks like in an inbox. Okay. Oh, this is actually something you have to purchase, so you can see that. But this just gives you an idea. Those are the two most important. And then X will get you out. You can also send yourself a test easy or a test. So I can go in here and say, send it to me. I really recommend anytime you do any kind of new templates or any new broadcast or anything that you send yourself a test. You can also send it to other account users if you want. So I can send that to myself. And then I can take a look to make sure it looks the way that I wanted. Okay. When I'm done testing, I'll go save and exit. This is when it asks for the name of the template. You want to give it a descriptive name so everybody's going to know what the template is for. And save. There it is. Simple, simple. And then you can easily edit it by simply clicking on its name, which takes you back to this page. And from here, you could go in and remove what you don't want. Oops. Sorry about that. Save and exit. Back to here. All right. So let's look at creating another one real quick. So create template. This time we'll look at themes. You can hit the drop down and choose a specific theme. So if I want to create one for an event, you can also type a search idea if you want. So you can just take these are a little more, have a little more pizzazz to them. So you could say, okay, I want to take this one. As I said, once you get to this point, it's all the same. You've got your content, you've got your design, okay? And then you basically start making some changes. So I could come here and I want to replace that. And I want to replace it with select. Ooh, that's hideous, isn't it? And save and close. Right, and I could go, okay, I don't like the design of the page. It's yellow. I don't want yellow. So I'll go over here and change it to maybe a lighter gray. Save it. Okay. And then pre-header and so on and so forth. Header. So you're going to basically go through here and change what you don't like. Excuse me. And kind of go through here. And then obviously you would remove anything that you want. So I was like, wait a minute, I need to have some social share buttons. I need to put those in there. And notice when I do that, then it asks me about my sharing information, my Facebook, Twitter, You know, instead of forward to a friend, I could say, oh, let's put it on LinkedIn. It changes the buttons. I can add another service, you know, so Google Plus. There we go. So now that puts that there at the bottom. So you have follow versus share. Share would allow them to share it on their profile. Follow would allow you to follow you on your profile. So once again, same idea, content design. Best thing to do is come in here and play and take your time and really get a good idea of how this whole thing works. I'm going to save and exit. Save. Beautiful. Okay, one more. Create templates, code your own. Now you can copy and paste, you can import HTML, or you can import a zip. So for instance, my original template was done in HTML, did it myself. So I could go in here, and the reason you would use this is if a client is maybe pulling their old template from, you know, Aweber, because they're moving from Aweber to MailChimp, or somebody created a custom template for them for their ezine, and they want to use it because now they're in MailChimp. The easiest thing to do is save it or copy and paste it. I'm going to show you how to pull this in here. Right, so you give it a name. I'll go get it. Oh, let's see here. Upload. Okay, here it is. This is the actual template, as you can see. Here is the actual code. Okay, so as you can see, once you get to this point, now it's a true HTML template, which means you can certainly change it in here, right? You can make changes clicking here and make sure everything works. Oops. And so on and so forth. You can also extend that so you can see all HTML. But this is basically what you need to do, and then you would come in here and save it. Okay, and then from here you can edit design, which will take you to here. Okay, versus edit code, so you can see the difference. So this is design, this is code. So this is usually how you do when you work in HTML. You usually have the design on one side and the code on the other. So as you go, it actually changes over here, right? Save it. Now, obviously, you have to know your HTML and CSS in order for that to work, but that is one way that you get it over here. The problem is if I decide to go back and use this template, it's not just like any other template in MailChimp. It is still an HTML template, which means I still have to go in and edit the HTML. Okay, just so you understand that. So that's how you create templates in here. So you can create templates for events, webinars, broadcasts, ezines, and things that you send out constantly. They should be branded. It should be very easy to understand who the item is from. So drag and drop, simple, simple. For the first two that we looked at, for themes and for basics, it's simply a drag and drop. You can edit or update the information once you drag it and drop it where you want it on the actual template. Easy to copy and paste, easy to remove, all of those things. But remember, there's two pieces. There's the content, and then there's the actual element itself that you drag and drop onto the template. The elements, the content, if you will, those are the actual holders for whatever items that you're putting on the template. The design is the formats for not just for the individual pieces, but also for the entire template as well. And as I said, the best thing to do is just get in there and play around. It really is not difficult, but that way you can kind of understand the layout. The different types of templates, basic, themes, and code your own. Code your own, you're still going to need to be strong in HTML and CSS to update those, even though you put them directly into MailChimp. They're still treated as an HTML template, not like one of the ones that we just saw when we looked at basics and also themes. Okay, we went through basics, simple text, columns, themes, pre-designed templates, different types for events and webinars. You might find something there is a little more flashy than a basic template. And then again, coding your own, you need to be strong in HTML and CSS. And this is usually used when they're pulling their template, their ezine template, their broadcast template from another tool, or it's been created from scratch. Easiest thing to do is either copy paste or import it, as I did. So for homework, you're going to create a broadcast or ezine template. I don't care which, you can create both. I just really want you to spend some time playing with the template features. Choose all your own options and all your own features. Format it the way that you want to, just so you get the gist of how that works. I really recommend that you spend some time with that. And then I do want you just to have some practice uploading an HTML document for the code your own template, just so you can see how that works, because clients may ask you to do that as well. Even though you may not be the one to upkeep the template, they may want you to put it into MailChimp. And I've provided a sample for you under download, so you want to grab that. If you want to share what you've done, I'd love to see it. You can certainly send me a picture of it, or you can point it out within the tool itself. But really take your time and kind of really get familiar with templates in MailChimp. Any questions, feel free to open a help desk ticket by clicking on the help button in the upper right-hand corner. Shoot us an email, post in our private Facebook group, or you can always leave us a comment below. All comments and questions are welcome and appreciated. Thanks for your time. I'll see you in the next session. Bye.